Hello, welcome to 8.9 News. I'm Costain. 40 Farms, a coffee table book that sold over 9,000 copies, tells the stories of 40 Cumbrian farmers, and the book can now be viewed as an outdoor farm trail exhibition at Low Sizergh Farm near Kendal. Amy Bateman, a Cumbrian farmer herself and British Life Photographer of the Year, is the artist behind the book and the exhibition, and I started by asking her where the inspiration for the book came from.
Well, actually, the inspiration was my publisher, who's called Dave Felton, a regional publisher here in Cumbria called Inspired by Lakeland. And he'd been in touch with me for a previous project, seen my work, and had this idea for 60 farms. And said, what do you think about this book? And I'm very business-minded. I look at the bottom line, financially disciplined. And I worked out very quickly he's not going to be able to afford me to go around 60 farms. So I did some sums and thought about it a little bit, and I said, do you know what, 40 farms is an alliteration. It trips off the tongue well. It's still a really good sample group of farms, and without diluting the stories, it actually has worked really, really well. So we've been able to capture virtually every type of farming in the country because of the wide varied geology of Cumbria. You know, we've got the high peaks with the igneous rocks up there. We've got the fertile plains of the Eden Valley. We go right out to the salt marshes out on the coast, and it's quite warm over there. So we can actually reflect in Cumbria virtually every farm operation in the country. So the reason we think it's probably been as popular as it has been is because there's a relatability there. So any farmer could pick it up and read a story that would relate to their farm.
Was it difficult to find 40 farms that wanted to get involved?
No, we had a long list. And sat post-COVID in my garage with a heater under the table, keeping our shoelaces warm. We thrashed out the list, and it was actually really hard to whittle it down, because here in Cumbria there's actually a huge amount of people who are nurturing these landscapes whilst producing really high quality food. You know, there is a lot of dynamic farmers here, and it was actually quite hard to whittle it down to 40. And what we found was, once we started going through the list and contacting people, everybody except for one said, yeah, I'd love it. Absolutely love to be involved. They were relishing the chance to share their stories and tell their voice, because the book's very apolitical. It's non-judgmental. It's factual. This is what's happening on the ground, but in a way that public who aren't farmers but are interested in the landscape can pick it up and understand.
Turning the book into a walking trail is a wonderfully innovative idea. How did that come about?
Well, I realised quite quickly that once the book was out, we launched it with an internal exhibition up at Reged, which is a big gallery up at Penrith, and that's owned by the Westmoreland family, who happen to be in the book as well.
Right.
And the exhibition received 60,000 visitors within 3 months.
Goodness.
It was staggering. And I thought, you know what, it can't stop here. We've got, the work's been done. We've got to tell these stories. Really passionate about, I don't like to say the word educate, because I think it makes me think that people think they might be sort of ignorant. I'd like to say that we inform people really about how food is produced whilst looking after the landscapes. And I wanted to be able to tell this to more people who were going to just pick up the book. And so I thought, well, let's take the exhibition to people. Where are people? Well, they're outside, they go walking, they visit places. So the plan at the moment is to actually tour with the exhibition. But I woke up in the middle of the night, and I thought, we need to print this as an external exhibition, put it on some trails, get it into big cities, let's get it into parks. So the project now is about moving that forwards and finding the contacts to then tour with the exhibition to reach more people.
There's a phenomenal cost associated with putting together an exhibition like this. How has this been funded?
Very fortunately, I looked at local businesses here in Cumbria, and we've got one called H&H Group. The group itself own H&H Livestock, which is the biggest Northwest auction centres, livestock auction centres here across the Northwest. They've got H&H Land and Estates, so they sell a lot of farmland, farms, properties and things like that. They have H&H Reads, which is a print company underneath their umbrella. And they're very committed to actually working with the community and telling these positive stories. So I approached them via the marketing manager and the CEO, who's Richard Rankin. And they came on board immediately. and just bankrolled the project, which has just been staggering level of support.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't do this on my own. Writing books doesn't make you a lot of money. I'm a passionate storyteller. It doesn't matter how financially disciplined I am. I couldn't have done that without their support. So if anybody knows anywhere that would like to take this fantastic exhibition, I would love to hear from you.
Now, access to the countryside is an important issue. Do you think that the book will help to break down some of the barriers between farmers and the walking public?
Oh, without a doubt. And I'm getting emails from the moment the book got published. I've got emails and handwritten fan mail and letters that are actually thanking me, both from farmers and the people who are buying these second homes in Cumbria and elsewhere, for helping them understand what's actually happening over their wall, over the hedge, in the landscape that they're walking through. And a lot of the time, people don't realise they are walking through a farmed landscape. You know, one of the farms is near Blee Tarn, and they actually graze the area around Blee Tarn at the base of the Langdales. And it's one of the most picturesque places in the Lake District. It's stunning. It's very popular with tourists, walkers, photographers. But people don't realise that is a farmed landscape. People are making their livelihoods from it. And so being able to just actually make that connection and make them realise that actually a lot of our countryside is farmed, and why it's farmed in certain ways so that they can understand, I think that's my raison d'etre, to tell people.
That was Amy Bateman, the photographer behind 40 Farms, and the exhibition's open at Low Sizergh Farm till Easter 2024. More news on our website, 8.9.com. That's all for now. We're back soon. Thanks for watching.